In the future, Buddha was in an assembly while a guy walked in searching furious. He notion Buddha turned into doing something wrong. He was drawing a massive crowd and people might just visit him and meditate. He turned into a stressed businessman, and he had located that his children have been spending the time with Buddha when they might have engaged themselves in enterprise, making extra cash and making sure their livelihood. He felt that spending 4 hours of the day seated next to a person whose eyes had been constantly closed turned into a complete waste of time. So the father of the circle of relatives became very disappointed, and he stated, "I am going to educate this man a lesson." With anger in his heart, he walked hopefully up to Buddha. As soon as he approached Buddha, all of his thoughts disappeared, but the anger in him did now not expend. He became shaking and he found himself speechless on the grounds that he changed into unable to express his emotions in phrases. He is honestly spat on Buddha's face. Buddha in return without a doubt smiled. His disciples who had been sitting with him have been livid. They desired to react and have been ready to leap, but the Buddha's presence didn't permit them to do so. They just could not agree with a person should behave in the sort of reprehensible manner with the Buddha, but they couldn't say anything, and this guy could not stay longer. Both he observed his movement had now not drawn any reaction from the humans around him, and the Buddha had in reality smiled in return. A few minutes later, he concept, if I live longer I'm able to burst on the way to explode. So he walked away. As soon as he again home, he couldn't erase the photograph of the smiling Buddha from his thoughts. For the primary time in his life, he had met someone who had such a brilliant response to one of these disrespectful acts. He couldn't sleep all night and his entire body underwent a transformation. He changed into shivering, shaking. He felt as though his international had collapsed. So the next day he got up and went and fell at Buddha's feet and stated, "Please forgive me, I did not realize what I become doing." To which Buddha responded, "I can't excuse you." Anybody, which includes Buddha's disciples, who were stunned at this response. All his life Buddha had been so compassionate. He had popular everybody in his ashram irrespective of the beyond, and now he became telling this businessman that he could not excuse his conduct. Buddha regarded around and determined each person to be in a kingdom of surprise. So he defined, "Why need to I excuse you while you have not executed anything? What incorrect have you finished that I should excuse your behavior?" The business guy replied, "The day prior to this I got here to this assembly and in my anger I spat to your face. I'm the identical person. It's for me." Buddha stated that individual isn't always here anymore. "If I ever meet the person on whom you spent, I'll tell them to excuse you for me too." The individual, that's proper right here. In this moment you're brilliant. You have got completed not anything incorrect you see in existence. Whilst will we without a doubt forgive a person? Authentic forgiveness is while you forgive a person and that a person doesn't even recognize that he is being forgiven. That character shouldn't feel guilty for his deed. This is the right sort of forgiveness. In case you forgive someone and maintain reminding them approximately their mistake and lead them to sense responsible all of the time, then in truth you've genuinely now not forgiven them. Yet guilt itself have to be enough punishment for a person that is there to do motivation testimonies.